Hello. Okay, so I think, hopefully, I have wowed you just then with potentially a bit of OBS magic. Welcome to the stream, or if you're watching this back, welcome to the playback of this stream. And I hope you're having a great day or evening or morning, whenever it might be. I have set the live chat live now, so if you can't see it, do hit the refresh button and it should pop up hopefully on the side. And if you are watching back, please do leave comments and hit the like button and subscribe. Do all the good things. And yes, hello, welcome. So I am going to be talking about the Roop later on, well, very, very shortly. But I thought, first of all, I just wanted to say, again, I think I say this at the start of every video that I do, just a huge thank you to everybody who has, been watching the channel, watched the previous stream that I did and watched it back later. It's really, really great. I'm over 300 subscribers now. Yay! Yeah, really, really means a lot. And just thank you. And also for telling me that you do want to hear me talk more just generally about Eurovision and things like that. So with that in mind, I thought what I would do is just sort of explain kind of my thinking going forward with the channel and what I want to do and how I plan to do that. Hello to everybody in the chat. I can see people popping up now. I was going to have another screen here or like an iPad so I could read the chat easier, but technology has failed me. Do let me know as well if I'm a bit too loud or too quiet, whatever it might be. I'll try and fix that. Anyway, so the channel going forward, my plan is, so as I said in my previous video, I struggle a bit in terms of when I'm editing things or when I'm like trying to pre-record things and edit them back and make them really produced. I very much sort of get in my own head and think, this isn't good enough, nobody cares, all that kind of stuff. And I actually find that doing things live, even though like I'm a little bit stressed at times and like I have to try and keep on going back on track, it really does help and I'm able to just flow through things a bit more naturally and I don't overthink things, which I think is really key. So what I plan to do, and do let me know in the chat, in the comments, what you feel about this. I will plan on doing these streams a lot more regularly. And I don't think a lot of people, like other than during Eurovision, I don't see a lot of creators doing live streams. Like a lot of people like premiere things. And, they comment along. But I don't see a lot of Eurovision live stream content regularly. So I think that would be fun to have. And then what I'll do is I'll actually sort of clip and take out things from these videos, from the live streams and make shorter videos. So say you are here just to hear about the Roop and you're like, why is this very pale, oddly lit British guy going on about his channel? If you were here for that, then you could just go to that shorter video and you can watch that back, maybe a day later. But also the live streams will be there. So if you do want to just, watch it through and, hear everything that I'm rambling on about and, chat and get involved, you can do that too. So there'll be like the longer version and then shorter, like highlights almost. So that is something that I see a lot on YouTube. Like a lot of gamers tend to do that. RT Game, who I subscribe to and follow, and he's really funny guy. He does that a lot. So like there are his streams and then video clips. So let me know what you think about that. And obviously if you're watching this back, I'll try and include like clips so that, if you want to just hit the timestamp, you can jump to whatever I'm talking about or wherever it might be. So yeah, so that's my thoughts going forward. And I think I'll probably try and do 2 or 3 a week maybe. And they might have different themes. They'll be at different times so that if you can't join on a Saturday, maybe you can join one midweek and it'll be a bit later, or we can play around and we'll see what works. But that's my thinking going forward, especially as I have a lot of songs to catch up on already at this point. And I'm only going to be talking about Lithuania today, probably. So that's my thinking. And yeah, do let me know what you think about that. Anyway, let's talk about Lithuania, because that's what you're here for. And let's talk about the Roop. So yes, Lithuania are sending the Roop with Discoteque to Rotterdam Eurovision 2021. Now, I think one thing that we have to talk about straight away, and in any video sort of talking about Eurovision 2021, we do have to think back to 2020, especially because we've never had a situation like this before at Eurovision, especially one, where we lost an entire year's worth of songs. Like, they are still there, it's great, but we never saw the performance. And I think one thing that is really stands apart is we've never had a situation where so many artists have come back the next year. And, we've had, I think Lena did it obviously in 2010 and 2011, Jedward 2011, 2012. And I can't really think of any other examples over the last probably like 20 years or so. There might be one or two that I'm not thinking of, where an artist has immediately come back. Because generally speaking, when artists do return, they're at a different part of their career and, they've evolved a lot more as an artist. And I think now that a lot of artists are coming straight back, it's almost easier to directly compare what they did in 2020 versus 2021. And that is something that it's kind of inescapable. We're always going to be talking about the Roop, and we're going to be talking about On Fire and Discoteque at the same time. We're going to be talking about Dathi Frere and, Hurricane, and there are literally, tens upon tens of artists coming back. And it's not fair necessarily to judge their 2021 song against the 2020, but it is something that it immediately comes to mind. And I never really talked about the 2020 songs publicly, other than like a bit on my Twitter. I never really said, what I thought about them. So it's an opportunity as well for me to say what I felt about the artists in 2020 and 2021. And this isn't, saying, oh, everything is a Fuego clone or anything like that. I just think it's natural to sort of try and compare them a little bit. So, let's talk about the Roop. I really like Discoteque. I think that it is something that really, it has a unique selling point. And the unique selling point is the Roop as a band almost, and their just natural charisma. I think that there is something very eye-catching about the way they perform, and we saw it in On Fire. And obviously they have the dance moves, but there's just something, they have such a great image and a visual idea behind everything they do, and that comes across both in the music videos but also the live performances. And I think that is something that is really key, because where in 2020 obviously Think About Things was probably everybody's favorite, and it was the one that favorite to win is what I mean. It was a lot of people's favorite to win. And I think that it got a lot of mainstream attention, but that was mainly focused around the music video. And I know people who then saw the live performance and weren't as sold. I really like the live performance as well, but there is a slight difference between the two. And, the music video is so great for that. And I think that with the Roop, whatever they do in the music video, the live performance is just on the same par, and it really does still have the same effect, and it's visually really great, and it draws people in. So I think that there's a lot in their favour immediately going into 2021, because they've got the dance moves again, they've got a really catchy song. Is it as good as On Fire is the thing that I see a lot of people say. Personally, I guess I prefer On Fire a little bit, but also I've been listening to that for the last year, whereas with Discoteque, I've only had it for 3 or 4 weeks at this point. And I think that there's definitely room for it to keep on growing on me, but on first listen and watching the live performance for the first time, you immediately got it, I think, and that is something that is really key. It's something that we always say, is that you need to be able to sell whatever you're doing to a mass European market for 3 minutes, because the chances are, either in the semi-final or most likely the grand final, that's the first time that they've seen you, that they've seen that song, that they know who you are. You have to sell yourself as an artist, and you have to sell your song in 3 minutes. And that is a very difficult task. And we've seen it before where artists have come in and the Eurovision fans have loved it, and then when it gets, we know their backstory, we know all about them, and then it comes to the live performance and suddenly it doesn't connect, because you have to think about it in that 3 minutes. The Roop do that. And yeah, I think that there is a huge opportunity for them. Now, just generally going back to something I really want to talk about, just Lithuania in general at Eurovision, the glow up over the last 2 years. I mean, this is something that we saw. I mean, I think we started to see the beginnings of this in 2018. Obviously, I loved Yeva Zasmaskaite. That was amazing. And it is still one of my favourite Eurovision songs of all time. I think I had it at number 2 or number 3 in the Eurovision Top 250. 2019 was a bit of a... didn't go as well. Run with the Lions was fine, and Jurius was really good. He's a really good performer. It just wasn't, there wasn't enough behind it. It felt like they were gearing up for something amazing. And that did come in 2020. They've got probably one of the most exciting national finals for the last 2 years running. And amazing glow up. I can't think of another country in the last 5 years that has had that kind of glow up like that. And to be able to just turn it on. Latvia kind of did it with Supernova for a couple of years, and then that has unfortunately petered out a little bit. But Lithuania really are bringing it. And I would say I loved the Roop, and they were definitely my favourites going into the final of Pabandom Iznaujo. No idea if I said that right. Please do tell me if I said that correctly in the comments. But yeah, Gabrassi as well, who was the runner-up, was another favourite of mine. And I think that there is so much talent out there in Lithuania at the moment that whatever they do in 2022, I'm really excited for. And that is something that I think is really great to see. And it's great to see these countries that you maybe don't expect to get a lot of fans behind them. And the Roop really seem to have galvanised a lot of the Eurovision fandom behind Lithuania, which is amazing to see. But yes, really great things coming out of Lithuania. Discoteque, it is catchy. It reminds me, it's weird. I always go back to, I'm a huge Scissor Sisters fan. And their third album, Nightwork, it sort of feels like it's a byproduct of that in a weird way. There are songs on that I immediately think, oh, that's like, I could see how it could have almost fit into that. It's an evolution of that, because that album came out about a decade ago. But yeah, I think there's just something about it that really is enjoyable, and it has such a great package behind it. Well, will it do at Eurovision is the main question. And, it's very difficult to say. We only have 5 songs at the moment, and even then, I think it's 5 or 6, and even then 2 of them definitely are being revamped or very much edited. So I can't imagine Discoteque will change much, but there is a real possibility that this will get Lithuania's best ever result. And I think they could have done that in 2020. I think they probably will do that in 2021. At this early stage, I'm saying that. So please keep a caveat in mind whenever it turns out that they don't do that. I am the king of over-exaggerating my predictions, unfortunately. Yeah, I think that there is a huge opportunity there. And, it just depends if it gets a good draw. I think it's one that needs to come a little bit later on in the evening, probably in the grand final. Water break. But yeah, I think that there is something immediately replayable about it, and it will have moments that it will catch the eye in a recap. It will draw an audience in. So I am really excited about this, and I'm really excited about Lithuania's chances. I'd love to go to Vilnius. Never been. Was going to go a couple of years ago and then didn't because I had work. And yeah, I think that there is so much potential there. Really hope that they do well. So I'm not going to give things a score yet. And I think if I am ever going to score them, it'll be probably in some kind of like ranking system, because I don't think that it's very difficult. Somebody's 8 is somebody else's 6, is somebody else's 7, is somebody else's 10. You can never be objective with scores. So all I'm going to say is I'm very excited. I think there is at least top 10 potential from this. I think the performance doesn't need to change much from what we are seeing currently towards Rotterdam. If they're performing in Rotterdam, great. Even if they perform it from the stage in Lithuania, if they have to pre-tape it, it will still come across. The energy is there. So there isn't a huge amount to be worried about. It's just whether or not they're fully accessible, and their kind of music is accessible to a wider audience. But they have things that are going in their favour. So very, very promising for the Roop. So I'm going to look over here to try and have a look at some of the comments that are coming through and just see whether or not... do let me know what you think in the live chat if you're watching live. I never really liked On Fire as a song. Without the choreography, Discoteque is amazing, even on the studio version. So, I mean, I did actually like On Fire in studio as well. I do think Discoteque probably is a little bit catchier. the intro definitely builds up more. It has that build up, so it makes you want to keep on listening. On Fire hits you straight away. And I do like immediacy, not gonna lie. And like I said, I've listened to On Fire so many times over the last year. So I'm not saying that I don't like the studio version at all. I do like the studio version. But Discoteque, I'm purposely trying to not over-listen to Eurovision songs this year because I do it so often. And I'm trying to, keep my playlist open to other ones, unless it's a national final song, in which case I can do that. But yeah, I think that there is a lot of there's a lot going in its favor, both studio and music video and live performance. There's a lot there. Love the entry. Think this would be hurt by the juries. So that is a good point. I mean, obviously in PIN, the juries gave it full marks. I don't think that there was any doubt that the Roop were always going to win Pabandom is Naujo this year. There was no way they were going to select anybody else, I have a feeling. And, the televote, 70,000, like something like 6 or 7 times more votes than every single other act put together is a pretty good amount to have. You can't deny that. And I think that the juries weren't going to go against that. I think there probably would have been a lynch mob if they had tried to do that. So yeah, I wonder with the juries, but vocally you can't fault the song. And there is history of the juries going for songs where it isn't all about the vocal. Yes, okay, the last few years, Proud won the jury vote. Cesar Sampson won the jury vote, very much a vocal and a little bit of staging song. So there is reason to think the juries won't all put their weight behind it, but there will be enough who will say, this is something that is catchy. I don't see it as a jury winner by far, but I can see it finishing maybe top 5 in a jury, and that it probably won't be enough to win. Top 3, yes. You do need to be sort of heading up there to win. You need to be kind of top 3 with the juries to win Eurovision. I don't think anything has finished lower than that yet, he says. I really should know that. I think the lowest is 3rd, maybe. I can't remember where Netta finished on the jury, though. So that might be something. But yeah, there's definitely potential, I think, that there will be enough juries who get behind it. And I think especially it appeals to both Western and Eastern European juries, because there is sometimes a split with those. Lithuania naturally does have a good voting history as well. It will get a lot of votes from your UK, your Ireland, Germany, I think, give Lithuania a lot of points. There is a lot of Lithuanian diaspora, and they do tend to come out in force. And that's not a bad thing. That's not a good thing. It is a fact. So yeah, I think it is very much a public vote song, but the juries, I think, will get behind it as well. We will wait and see. So that is all I really have to say about the Roop. And yeah, so if you liked this little stream, then please do give it a like. Please do subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Leave comments if you're watching it back. You can do all the same things. And yeah, as I said, hopefully the plan moving forward is I'm going to be doing more of these kind of streams. And, I'll then cut them down. Let me know your feelings about that idea. And generally, yeah, thank you very much for joining me. I am going to be doing other videos too. I am going to be doing some longer ones or like some more produced ones, but this just gives me time to work on those a little bit more and actually get them right and not fuss about with the edits too much on all of these type of videos. So, yeah, great stuff. Hopefully. Thank you very much for joining me, and yes, have a wonderful rest of the day. If you are also interested, there are other videos. I will link them up in the bits above. And yeah, great stuff. Thank you very much, guys, and I will catch you all soon. Bye.